Hello everyone, my name is Chuck Stoffel and I'm glad you could join me on day 12 of the 25 days of making. And today we're going to look at doing what's called a multi-scene folding card. It's a very long title because it's hard to give this one a name. And I know many of my students in Hawks Makerspace really enjoy making this. So I thought I would share it with you so you could enjoy it as well. So basically what it is, I've used a square piece of paper, but you can also use a rectangle, and it works just as well. So it's a multi-scene folding card. So I'll give you a couple examples. This one is a basic, basic squares and colors, that sort of thing. And so with this one, what we tried to do is move these two colors around. Okay, so when you fold it once, and then you fold it again, and it changes scenes. Okay, now we have the two rectangles divided in half, so there's 4/4. And then what you do is you move it along again, and now all of a sudden we have the one color this way and this way. So they've gone from this way to this way, and within the card. And then you can move them again, and now it's completely different, where we have all the colors going this way. And then if you turn it again, it looks back the same back to the beginning. Here's another simple example, and I am by no means an artist, and many people have done a much better job than I have in terms of the drawing portion, but this is sort of an outdoor scene. It's a evening scene or nighttime scene right now. The moon, stars, mountain, some water, some grass. So when you flip it, you can actually make it so that the sun is coming up. So it's so the scene is actually changing as you fold the cards. It's coming up between the mountains, and so when you change it again, it's coming up even more now over the water. And now we have some birds, some seagulls. And then when you fold it once more, the sun is fully out, some clouds, sky, seagulls, that sort of thing, right? And then when you fold it back, it changes back into evening, okay? And the making of this, the actual cutting and folding is really, really simple. The most difficult part is actually figuring out what type of scene you want to do. And there's a couple of ways to do this, and I'm going to actually show you both ways, and you can decide on which way you prefer. Okay, so what you need is a sheet of paper. I'm going to. You could actually use a full sheet of paper. It's very big. It's much bigger when you do it that way. I'm actually going to scale this down to a square, and typically what we do is we fold the corner over and cut it as a square. I don't want to do that this time because I don't want the crease going all the way across. So for this one, I'm actually going to measure, which doesn't happen very often when we do the simple squares. So it's 21.5. So I'm just and I could have done this ahead of time, but I just want to show you how we would do this, because we don't want to, like I said, we don't want to do the extra crease on it. So I'm just going to cut it right there and make ourselves a square piece of paper. And like I said, you can always use a rectangle. We've done that before as well. It doesn't have to be this big. It can actually be smaller. When you're doing the first one, you may want to make it smaller, just so it's easier to manage. I sometimes find the bigger ones harder to manage, but I wanted to do a bigger one for this video, just so you can see, get a better picture of how it looks. So once you have your square, the next thing you do is you draw a couple of diagonals from each corner. So you're going to the opposite side. And you don't have to draw it too hard. You just have to have just a line that you can see, that's all, because we are going to eventually erase those lines. Okay, so there we go, a little bump there. So now we have a midpoint, which is really what you're looking for, plus you need the lines later on. So now what you do is you fold each edge into the middle. Okay, so there's one, and nice strong push on the fold, and then you fold the next line. Sorry, you open it up, okay, and then I like to turn it and fold it. So turn it and fold it like this. And the beauty about the videos is you can always stop and rewind and go back again. Turn it again, go this way, and fold, and now return it and go again this way. Okay. Now here is the two schools of thought. So now we have our folds that we're going to be using. Okay. Now what you would do in any case is you would turn it over and you would start making your drawing. Okay. Now what I would suggest is, if you're doing this for the first time, don't start like this. I would actually make the cuts on the other side, because then you'll have an idea of where the paper folds, and a better idea of how you want to do your drawing. Okay. So what I would suggest, if it's your first time, I would turn it over, and what you're going to do is you're going to need a knife, and or actually you could poke your scissors through here, and you could just cut the lines as well. And you only want to go up to where your folds intersect. Okay, right there. You can draw a little circle on there as well, and you only want to go that far. That's it. So you can, like I said, you can use a knife, a box cutter, a pair of scissors. You can poke your scissors through the paper and just cut the lines. That works as well. I just happen to have a knife handy, so that's what I'm going to use. So now we go all the way across, right, from one intersection point to another, and then I'm going to turn it. Now you have to be careful when you do this. When you cut it, don't go all the way across, because you'll end up actually tugging on that bottom piece, and it'll end up ripping a lot of times. So what we do here is just do one half at a time. So go from here to the middle, and it'll flip up like that, and then turn it all the way around, because I want to do this one this way now. This is if you're right-handed. Okay, if you're left-handed, you can go the other way. I'm just doing it this way because I'm right-handed, so I'm cutting with my right hand. Oh, I made a mistake already. There we go. Okay, so now we have our cut, and now you still want to turn it over, so your lines, all these lines, will be facing down when you start. Okay, because your first turn is this way and this way. Okay, that'll be your first turn. So similar to what I did, I mean, I can just do that. I just did it in pencil, and I knew that this was going to move, and I know that this is going to move. Right, so the new pieces that are exposed are this and this. Okay, so when I did my scene, all I did was I decided that I was going to go through the middle like this, and I just kind of drew a horizon line, right? And then I just drew my mountains, and I knew this was going to switch. So what you can do is you can take them into here a little bit, right? And you can go around this way and take it down as well. So there's a kind of a bit of a mountain look. You can go even higher if you want, and down higher there if you want. And I won't color this one because I have the color one to show you. And then I made this a nighttime scene, so I know that that's going to disappear, right? This top part is going to disappear. So if I want to have a nighttime scene, I want to maybe keep my stars in this spot that is going to disappear, right? And maybe another one there. And I think in my other one I put put a bit of a moon on there, right? And I think I also put a little bit of water on this spot, right? So this was the water, and you can go all the way through, right? And obviously you'd use some coloring on this, and after you're done, you can go through and you can even erase some of your pencil marks and put color in it. And I believe I put grass on this bottom part, right, like this, and I'm just going to leave it like that. So you can do it however you like. See, the nice thing about this too is you can use words as well. Okay, so you can put a letter, a letter, a letter, a letter there and there. And then when you flip it, you would actually have a different word. Okay, so it would look like that. So at the risk of making a bit of a mess here, you take that idea. You can actually have different words. All right, so if I put the word summer, M-M-E-R, when you flip it, you have to have S-U and then letters and that match the letters there. Same thing on the bottom, you could do that as well. Then it becomes a little more tricky. Or you could do math equations as well. Okay, and when they flip it, it becomes different equations. Or you could draw the equations on the sides and match it up that way. But for simplistic reasons, I just drew a simple mountain scene with some water and some grass. So then, when I flip it, then I can color my scene a different way. See, this is why I actually like doing my drawing after I cut it, because what will happen is when if the kids work on this, if you cut it ahead of time and then they start coloring, what happens is you end up catching the edges of the paper, and sometimes they fold or they tear, right? That's why one school of thought is to not make the cuts until you're done your complete scene on this side. But I still like to have them open so I know what is flipping over and what I'm going to see on the next side, right? Like I said too, once you get better at understanding how it's flipping across or how it's flipping over, then you can do this first and then you can make your cuts. Okay, and just like I did on mine, when I open it up, I wanted the sun to be kind of coming out. So there's the sun's going to come out like this a little bit, right? Coming in between the two mountains, and then I still have my water coming across, right? And this, I just kept it as a little piece of grass coming through. But you can always do it a little different. You can always make it something else. You can make somebody coming out of this space, and this was the sunshine coming up, and you can even make it a little more like this, like as a really bright sunrise, right? Okay, and then you're going to turn them this way, and now you can complete more of the drawing. You can decide how you want to do this. You can bring the sun all the way around, right, and keep this the water, and you can actually introduce things like maybe a boat or a person swimming or a whale coming through, because it's all kind of hidden, right, until you flip it around. So you can continue the water on like this and continue it on like this, and it's okay if you do that, because if you remember the one before, it covers it all anyway, right? So when you flip it across, then you can almost have a boat coming through, maybe some kind of a sailboat or a ship or something. All right, with a sail coming around, a couple of sails. All right, or you can have a whale coming through, or a person on the other side. And same thing here. You can keep your large sun rays going through the whole picture, and then when it opens up like this, finally, you will still have your other part of the boat, right? So you have to do that again, and we can still have the water, right, sort of thing. I'm just going to draw lines across, and this is where you have to erase your original lines that we drew when we folded our ends over. All right, and you can get rid of these lines as well, because you won't need them. Like this, there we go. And now you can actually draw the sun up higher in the sky. All right, in my original one I had it just a little bit too low, I think, and then you can make it a really bold sun, and you can still have this coming through. You can have whatever coming across this way. So it's pretty endless in terms of what you can do, and you can still have your ground here, like your grass that we had before. And I'm not using color, I'm just using pencil right now, because like I said, you can change it after a while. You can put some color into it and decide how you want to do it. So then we go back and it's evening again, right? So it's flipping it this way and flipping it this way, which is our first one, and then the sun is coming up, right? We have a couple of mountains on both sides, and then when you flip it again like this, and the sun's coming up a little more, like it's coming out of the water, and then we drew a little ship there, and like I said, you can draw something else on this side, maybe a whale, and then what happens is it flips this way. So if you notice that as it flips, we've kept the ship in that spot, right? And when we flip this one, the sun has actually risen up higher. Okay, and then when you color all this, it looks really amazing in terms of a full scene, right? So if you can imagine coloring it with solid colors, to have it flip for you, to show the sun coming up in the water. It really is pretty neat when you finish it and you color it. And like I said, you can do lettering in this. You can do numbers. You can write a little story in on these folding scene cards as well. You just have to pay attention to which part flips over and which part is exposed. So it all matches, and change the words as you flip it. So yes, there's lots of possibilities with this. Our kids in Makerspace, they love doing this. They produce quite a few different types, all varieties of scene cards, and that's one that I guess we do every year. And they always ask if they can do it again and again. So, well, I hope you enjoyed it, and hope you enjoy the rest of the 25 days of making. Looks like there's some great videos coming along, some activities that you can do, especially over the holidays. So wishing you a good holiday, and thanks for watching.